were standing in front of the mirror, fresh out of the shower, trying to zip up your dress. Ah, I told him to stitch it higher. You muttered under your breath in frustration. The talent had stitched it too low and you just couldn't reach the zipper. You tugged at the zipper again but no luck. How am I supposed to zip this dress now? You grumbled, looking helplessly at the mirror. Just then Jungkook walked out of the bathroom, his hair wet and only a towel wrapped around his waist. He was about to head to his closet when you spotted him. Jungkook, can you help me? You called out. He paused and glanced at you. He hummed, turning his head slightly. My dress. Can you zip it up? You asked, a bit shyly. Okay, he replied simply and walked over to you. You turned around, exposing the zipper on your back to him. Your heart started to race as he grabbed the zipper. You couldn't help but feel his touch. His hands trailing on your bare back as you can feel tingling sensation with his touch. You were chuckling silently while biting your lower lip. When you looked in the mirror, Jungkook looked at your reflection and smirked as he leaned in and kissed on your neck, where you quickly closed your eyes, feeling both shy and excited as your heart pounding in your chest. But then reality hit when Jungkook patted your shoulder. "Ryan," he said softly. You quickly opened your eyes and turned at him, only to realize till now you were daydreaming about him. "It's done," he said, his voice flat as he walked away to his closet. You blinked, snapping out of your daydream. You looked at yourself in the mirror, the zipper fully up, but your heart sinking. "That's it," you mumbled under your breath, feeling disappointed. Jungkook, completely unaware of your thoughts, was already busy picking out his clothes. You watched him, feeling a mix of frustration and sadness. Why can't he be more romantic? You muttered to yourself, shaking your head. As you finished getting ready, you couldn't help but feel a little bitter. Why did he have to be so cold? Why couldn't he see how much you wanted more from him? You sat on the edge of the bed, watching Jungkook as he got dressed. He looked so handsome and so distant. You sighed, feeling a lump in your throat. "Why do you have to be like this, Jungkook?" you whispered, but he didn't hear you. You sat at the edge of the bed, watching Jungkook as he got ready for bed. He looked so handsome, even when he just doing something simple like buttoning his shirt. You couldn't help but admire him, your eyes tracing his features. Suddenly he turned to you, catching you off guard. "What are you doing at?" he asked, his voice flat but his eyes briefly meeting yours. You quickly shook your head, feeling embarrassed. "Nothing," you mumbled, getting up from the bed. You were about to leave the bedroom, feeling flustered, but then you heard him call your name. "Vine, wait," he said, making you pause in your tracks. "I need your help." You turned back to him curiously. He held up his shirt, showing you a missing button. "I want you to stitch this button for me," he said, his tone as neutral and cold. A playful smile tugged at your lips as an idea popped into your head. "Okay," you agreed, walking back towards him. You thought maybe, just maybe, you could turn this simple task into something romantic. You started stitching the button, leaning in a bit closer to him. As you worked, you made sure your soft, silky hair brushed against his cheek, hoping to get a reaction out of him. Maybe he would feel a spark, maybe he would finally notice you. But Jungkook just stood there, stiff as a board, not reacting at all. He looked straight ahead, his face expressionless like a robot. You glanced up at him, waiting for any sign that he was affected, but there was nothing. You sighed inwardly, feeling frustrated. How can he be so clueless? You thought to yourself, can't he see this as a chance to do something romantic with his wife? You finished stitching the button, your excitement deflating. "It's done," you said softly, the disappointment clear in your voice. "Thank you," he replied, his tone polite but distant. He put on his coat, ready to leave the room, not even noticing the effort you would put in to get close to him. You watched him go, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. Why is he like this? You muttered under your breath, cold and romantic. It's like he doesn't even care. As he left the room, you couldn't help but curse him silently. You are so dumb, Jungkook. You whispered to yourself, how can you be so blind to see my hints? You sat back down on the bed, feeling defeated. No matter what you tried, it seemed like nothing would ever wake up the romantic side of your husband. He was just too cold, too distant, and it hurt more than you wanted to admit. The room felt colder without him there, and you wrapped your arms around yourself, trying to control your sadness that had settled in your heart. Why can't he see how much I want more from him? You thought, feeling the tears form at the corner of your eyes. Lying back on the bed, you stared up at the ceiling, trying to find some way to make peace with the situation. Maybe this is just how he is, you told yourself, though it did little to comfort you. Maybe I'm asking for too much. After a while, you came downstairs to have breakfast along with Jungkook, who would go to the office after having it. So you and Jungkook sat across from each other at the dining table, eating a simple breakfast of bread and jam. The silence between you was almost too loud, making you feel even more distant from him, but you weren't ready to give up just yet. As you took a bite of your bread, an idea popped up in your head. You purposely left a bit of jam at the corner of your lips, hoping Jungkook would notice. Maybe this time, you thought, glancing at him every few seconds, waiting for him to say something. Jungkook continued eating, his eyes focused on his plate, completely oblivious to what you were doing. You felt a mix of excitement and then nervousness as you waited, trying to act casual. Finally, he looked up, and you held your breath, hoping he would notice. "Wine," he said, his voice breaking the silence. "Yes," you responded quickly, trying to hide your excitement. "You have some jam near your lips," he pointed out. His tone was gentle. You pretended to be surprised. "Really? Where?" you asked, acting as if you didn't know. He stared at you for a moment, then sighed. "Wait, I will help you clean it," he said, getting up from his seat. Your heart started racing as he walked over to you. Maybe he is finally getting it. You thought, closing your eyes slightly, expecting him to lean in and wipe the jam away with his lips, maybe even kiss you. But instead of feeling his lips on yours, you felt something soft being pressed into your hand. You opened your eyes only to see him handing you a tissue. "Here," he said, then walked over to grab a small mirror from the nearby shelf. "And use this to see where the jam is," he added, holding the mirror up for you. You blinked in shock, your daydream shattering into pieces. "What?" you whispered, barely able to hide your disappointment. Jungkook stood there, holding the mirror patiently as if he didn't notice the hurt in your eyes. "You can clean it now," he said, waiting for you to take the tissue. You forced a smile, trying to keep your frustration from spilling over. "Thanks," you muttered, taking the tissue and wiping away the jam. The disappointment weighed heavily on your chest as you dabbed at the corner of your lips, feeling more alone than ever. Jungkook gave a small nod, satisfied that you were cleaning it, and went back to his seat. He didn't seem to notice the sadness in your eyes or the way your shoulders slumped in defeat. As you finished cleaning up, you couldn't help but feel angry. How can he be so clueless? You thought, changing the tissue in your hand. Doesn't he see how much I'm trying? Why can't he just be a little romantic? But instead of saying anything, you swallowed your frustration and tried to focus on finishing your breakfast. You didn't want to start another day feeling this way, but it was hard to let go of the disappointment. Jungkook continued eating as if nothing had happened. To him, it was just another ordinary morning, but to you, it felt like a missed opportunity for something more. You glanced at him again, hoping he might say something, do something that would show he cared, but he just sipped his coffee, his expression as calm and distinct as ever. Is this how it's always going to be? You wondered, feeling a lump forming in your throat. You wanted so much more from your marriage, but it seemed like Jungkook was content with the way things were cold, distant, and unromantic. It was not like he doesn't care for you, he just like respects you, he brings whatever he wants, he doesn't make you feel uncomfortable except for the things that he doesn't know you expect from him. I think you should talk to him about it. When breakfast was over, Jungkook got up, grabbed his coat, and headed toward the door. I'm going to work, he said. His tone was same as always. Okay, you replied, trying to keep your voice steady. Have a good day. He nodded and left without another word, leaving you alone in the kitchen with your thoughts. As the door closed behind him, you let out a heavy sigh, finally allowing yourself to feel the full weight of your disappointment. Why does it have to be like this? You whispered to the empty room, knowing there would be no answer. You sat there for a long moment, staring at the half-eaten bread on your plate, wondering how much longer you could keep trying to reach a man who seemed so far out of reach. 2 days later, you were curled up on the couch watching a romantic K-drama called Love in Bedroom. The main couple was sharing a tender moment, and you couldn't help but feel a pang of envy. Why can't my life be like this? You wonder as you watch the scene unfold. Just then the doorbell rang, pulling you out of your thoughts. You quickly paused the television and went to the answer the door. When you opened it, you were greeted by the excited faces of your four closest friends. Ryan, they all screamed in unison, rushing forward to hug you tightly. Face, Bert, Rob, Jen, you loved hugging them back. I can't believe you're all here. We missed you so much, she said as you all made your way into the living room. I missed you guys too, you replied, leading them to the couch. Come on, sit down. I will get us some snacks. After bringing out snacks and drinks, you all settled in, the room filling with the familiar warmth of friendship. It's been 3 months since you got married, and we haven't had a chance to meet like this, she said, taking a sip of her drink. I know, right? You agreed, smiling. It feels like forever. I miss you all so much. We missed you too, Ryan, she said, munching on some chips. You all started chatting, catching up on the latest gossip, movies, and everything in between. It felt so good to have your friends around just like old times. As the conversation went on, Jenny suddenly turned to you with a mischievous grin. So, Ryan, how is your life with Jungkook? She asked, winking playfully. Jen? You gasped, your cheeks heating up. Why are you asking that? Seriously, Jen? She chimed in, rolling her eyes. Don't you have anything else to ask? Kiss chuckled, waving her hand dismissively. Relax, bro. It's not something to be ashamed of. We are all adults here, and besides, we're curious. One, is Jungkook romantic like those K-dramas you are obsessed with? You felt a lump in your throat, your smile fading a little. You glanced at your friends, all of them looking at you expectant. With a heavy sigh, you decided to be honest. Actually, I'm still, you said quietly. For a moment, there was complete silence. Your friends stared at you, their jaws dropping in shock. What? No way. Her eyes widened in shock. Are you serious? She added, looking genuinely surprised. But you have been married for 3 months. I know, you said, feeling embarrassed. It's just Jungkook isn't exactly the romantic type. Just looked at you with concern. One, I had no idea things were like that. I'm sorry. It's okay, you replied, forcing a smile. I've just been trying to get him to open up more, but it's been hard. Rob shook her head, still in desperation. I can't believe it. I always thought you two would be like a K-drama couple full of passion and romance. I wish, you muttered, looking down at your hands, but it's not like that. He's so cold, so distant. I don't even know if he feels anything for me. Have you talked to him about it? She asked gently. I have tried. You said feeling the frustration built up again, but he just doesn't get it. It's like he's completely clueless about how I feel. Junior reached over and squeezed your hand. Wine, we are here for you no matter what. If you need to vent or need advice, just let us know. You nodded with a smile. That evening, Jungkook arrived home after a long day looking forward to quiet night. However, when he walked in, he was surprised to see your friends gathered in a living room. Hey everyone, he greeted them trying to sound polite. Hi Jungkook, they responded cheerfully, their smiles warm but mischievous. You were sitting on the couch with your friends, chatting and laughing. Jungkook noticed that you seemed at ease and he couldn't help but feel a bit of relief. He took a seat at the other end of the couch and opened his laptop, starting to work. You got some snacks and coffee for him. He listened to the conversation while focusing on his task. Swan, she said, grinning, we know you love romantic dramas, but we still can't believe you are, we thought you would be pregnant by now. Jen added, chuckling, yeah, it's okay though. Some people like to take things so slow. You blushed, feeling a mix of embarrassment and amusement. Guys, seriously? Chris jumped in with a teasing tone. Come on, Wine. It's just a bit of fun. We all friends here. Jungkook sitting quietly with his laptop overhead every word. He could feel his face growing warm though he tried to ignore it. The teasing continued and it was clear that your friends were enjoying their little game. Rob leaned in saying with a smirk, we just didn't expect you to be so traditional. We are used to hearing about wild stories, not about someone waiting until marriage. Jungkook, who was listening to your friends, acting like he didn't know, although he was feeling some kind of quest in his stomach. You groaned, sinking lower into the couch. Okay, enough, everyone. But they didn't stop. Instead, they continued with playful remarks and laughter, making you feel increasingly flustered. Jungkook, who had been trying to concentrate, finally had enough. He closed his laptop with a decisive click and stood up from the couch. Wine, shall we talk? You got up and followed him to the bedroom, where your friends watching you two silently. He closed the door once he came inside and came near you. What's going on? He asked, a little seriously, which made you feel nervous. Nothing, Jungkook. They're just having fun while teasing me. You don't worry, I will tell them. You said, stuttering, and was about to leave. Just then he held your wrist and pulled you close to his chest. Leave about them. I'm asking about us. You looked at him confused. About us? Yes, since morning I was not like mine. I'm getting different feelings, emotions. When you zip up your dress, I felt like touching your back. When your hair touched my cheek, I felt like kissing your cheek. And when you put the charm, I felt like kissing your lips. Your eyes widened with surprise. As you didn't expect him to say all this, you were slowly getting excited. So till now you haven't got these kind of emotions? No, I respected and admired you, but being romantic was not in my dictionary. Since I grew up with my grandparents, I never grew up like this. They used to teach me basic human skills, education and business handling. I never talked to any girl until I became CEO to my company. Your jaw dropped as you never thought these kind of men exist. Really? I thought you don't love me, that's why you're not acting romantic and not touching me. No, I love you one way. Now, touching you, so you want to see a romantic side of me? You quickly lowered your head in shy as you nodded, where he chuckled and made you look at him by lifting up your head. I think I acted stupid all these days. I didn't try to find your desires. I'm sorry for that wine, but I promise I'm not as innocent as you think. You will be astonished with my romantic side. I winked at you playfully. Now, no way, my friends are here, Jungkook. Let me deal with them. I quickly came downstairs as you followed him. So girls, will you all be leaving soon? They looked at him confused. Why? Jungkook, what's going on? Jungkook's face turned serious as he walked towards you. I want to take care of your friends' eyes widened in shock. Their plan had worked, but they hadn't expected Jungkook to act on it so directly. They exchanged stunning glances. Well, we should get going, she said, her face turning red. It was nice seeing you, Ryan. Jane and the others hurriedly followed back to the door, eager to escape the awkwardness. As they left, Jungkook turned back to you, his expression shifting to one of the determination. He scooped you up in his arms and carried you to the bedroom. You gasped in surprise, feeling your heart race as you walked. When he reached the bedroom, he gently set you down on the bed. "So Ryan," he said, his voice low, "and are you ready to see the romantic side of me?" You looked up at him, your cheeks flushed with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. "I have been ready since the day we got married, baby," you whispered. Jungkook's eyes darkened with desire as he closed the bedroom door with his foot. He turned back to you slowly, revealing his toned chest. His movements were deliberate and filled with excitement. When it was over, you lay in each other's arms, feeling a deep sense of contentment. Jungkook's embrace was warm and comforting, and you knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in your relationship. "I love you, man," he said, kissing your forehead. "I love you too, Jungkook." Thank you for watching.